Right, where we go?
Yeah,
Are you going on?
we're going.
Are you going, Adam? How are you, Adam? Oh, that's good. How are you on? How are you, Stevie?
Sure.
How are you, Aidan?
Slightly nervous, which
Yeah.
is rare for me now. Yeah, it's different, but I'm sure within a few minutes I'll get
Yeah.
the conversation flow state and we'll have a chat.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for coming. It's good to have you here. The house isn't big enough for all of you, but you've decided to make your way in somehow anyway. So thanks for watching this wonderful episode that we're about to do. And we haven't been here in a while, so we're a bit rusty ourselves. So that should hopefully that makes you more comfortable. Because it took us years to figure out how to do this, and all went away with not doing this for a month. So we lost all our skills and all our practice. And now Stevie hates the show again. Stevie used to hate the show. He used to be our biggest hater. And then after 2 years of trying to get him to like it, it's all gone out the window due to inactivity. Is that correct?
Yeah, I fucking hate it again.
Okay, he hates us again. Right, welcome back to Everything from Nothing. And we're joined by Aidan Loughnane.
Hello.
And how are you? You cold?
I'm not too bad.
Yeah.
I burn warm or something
Yeah?
like that. Yeah.
You burn warm?
Yeah, maybe. I'm just a warm guy. I'm a very
Yeah.
warm guy. But inside and out.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
ears are red. I don't know if you can see that. They're slightly red. But yeah, I'm slightly nervous, but like
Yeah.
I say, we'll have a chat. We'll get into it about the ins
Yeah.
and outs of me and what my crack is and what I'm all about.
Yeah.
At the mature age of 30 now.
30, yeah. Just
Yeah.
turned 30. When is your birthday?
2nd of December. So I turned 30
Right.
last Friday.
Oh, did you go out renting? Or did
I
you
went out
anything?
Saturday, yeah. Went out with a few
Right.
boys, had a few pints, not too mad.
Yeah. Would you drink much when you go out, like?
No, now, no, but before I would have been a binge drinker,
Yeah.
which
And would you go out much, like?
no,
and
Jesus,
just
no.
Yeah.
Now with running, like I might take maybe a 4 month break. So I go out train for so now I might go out train for a marathon, then take
Yeah.
a 4 month break from drink. Then I might have just kind of a celebratory few drinks, but yeah,
Yeah.
I control my drinking.
Yeah.
Because of what it does for my head after drinking
Yeah.
it's not good. Like,
Because when you're on when you're on the right path, I'm gonna try and stop cursing so we can get more ad money. Sorry. But when you're on the right path, I find it's the most disorienting shit in the world is when like you just drink. Like it fucks me up like for fucking couple of weeks after. Like just number one, most of the reason it fucks me up after is because when I'm doing so well, like before I used to drink like so much and just like and even getting off my head and shit, and I could wake up the next day and still be the person having the most fun in the room and shit. It never like got hungover or down. The reason I started getting hungover and shit, not because like I started feeling like I started getting older and like that, it was just because I started doing more shit. So
Yeah.
the contrast of like feeling happy and productive without drink to then I ruin it all by going out drinking. Then the next day I feel horrible because I'm like off the beaten track or something.
yeah,
Do you get that? Or?
yeah. What happened to me was, I suppose, I used to enjoy drinking, but I binge drink, and then I'd be in like the horrors for days, and I would do stuff that I say I would never do. Now I mean not fucking eccentrically wild, but like if I maybe got into a fight or something, or if I had words with someone, whatever, I'd be kicking myself for days after it.
Yeah.
And then the head will get worse. But then I suppose what happened lately was, and it was only a turn of not so long ago, maybe in the last year, I used to drink, and while I was drinking, I wasn't enjoying it.
Yeah.
So I was drinking, and actually, one of the boys I work with, Ross, he said a lovely quote. It was like, the busier the nightclub, the lonelier you feel. And it was
Yeah,
very
that's mad.
true. Like, and I
That's
started to
mad,
feel
yeah.
like I was in a room, and it's not being like overly heavy, but I drink and eat with my friends. It was just a case of like, I don't like being here.
Yeah.
It wasn't the people. I love my friends, but like I felt just so conscious of like here he comes. Like here's this like Jekyll and Hyde version of me that's going to come out, and it's not me. Like
Yeah.
it's just this kind of monster will come out, and I'd be just messy and drunk, and I know the anxiety is coming the next day. So I just kind of got sick of it, man. I got fed up with drinking.
Yeah.
Just so bad for the head. Like the head was,
Yeah.
days of fear and spook and.
Yeah, of course. Like
Yeah, because
Yes.
when I went to
go
my
on.
therapist, we were talking about that one time. Oh yeah, I went to a therapist. We'll
Yeah.
get into that, I'm sure. But I used to be I was a very judgmentative person, if I'm honest.
you were judgmental.
I was very
Okay.
judgmentative. I would judge people quick and
Yeah.
fierce. Like, people. I never say, well, maybe they're going through this. It was like,
Yeah.
oh, they're taking these drugs. They're junkies.
Yeah.
They're doing this. I never thought about, well, why are they doing this?
Yeah.
So I used to be like, oh, if a person was an alcoholic, I'd be like, oh, this person's alcoholic, blah blah blah. But then me and my therapist had a chat. She was like, yeah, but like you mightn't drink for whatever, maybe 8 weeks or 10 weeks, but then you go out and you binge drink. Like, who are you to judge? Do you know, like,
Yeah.
being a binge drinker is as bad as being like
Yeah.
like a functional alcoholic, like.
Because they're getting their fix spread out,
Yeah.
but you're getting all their fix.
And
in
I'd
one
ruin
night,
my
like.
life in one night.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
yeah,
they
yeah.
might do in 10 years, but I'll give it a good fucking 6 hours, and I'm turning.
Hey,
my
that's
life
mad
upside
true,
down, like.
actually. Yeah, like you could ruin your life in one. You could ruin it in one night, like.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's-
Yeah.
yeah, that's fucking mad.
I've often done my best to.
Yeah, yeah.
Thankfully, thank God, I am still here. But
Yeah.
I was a bad lad. Yeah, I was a bad lad. But
You know what's interesting about like you saying I done my best. Do you ever feel like is that because I would agree like I would resonate with that like I done my best, which is a funny thing to say because like that's like well, it's like why would you do that? Like you do your best to ruin your own life. Is like do you feel like it is like a subconscious like a self-destruct thing?
yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Where do you think that comes from?
100%.
Maybe it's different for everyone. Like
I don't know. There's definitely a lot of stuff that I try to, I suppose, break down in myself. I've become very kind of in tune with my emotion and my thoughts.
yeah,
Like if I feel a certain way now, I'll go into my head and think like, without even being too critical, I'll just be like, why am I feeling this way? Like, so back then it was kind of this thing of, I suppose, I don't know, I didn't like myself for years. That's where it kind of came from me. So when I drank, I get this almost false confidence, you know? But I was like hard on myself for years. I've always been very hard on myself. But this false confidence will come with drink. Now, thankfully, I never went down the line of the coke, like we said. Like a lot of lads are kind of, you know, that's the trouble now
that
with
gives
people.
confidence.
Yeah,
powder.
but no, it was a false confidence thing, and
yeah,
I liked the escape, I suppose. And then I would drink and drink and drink, and I'd be out then to the point where I would hit this peak. And like I've done, like I said my biggest regrets, I think, was just, I suppose, I was with a girl for years now, years. And I talk about like bad relationship, but very young.
yeah.
But geez,
yeah.
man, like I was, such a bad lad with drink, especially, but it all came from validation.
Yeah.
See, when I was young, I was overweight, and I was like, you know, a fat young lad. But, like you get your slagging, but I suppose it almost felt like it was more of a slagging. It goes into you, you know, this internal like you take it in.
Yeah, yeah.
And when I was out then, and I got a bit older, and I lost the weight, and I had a few drinks in me, and girls were paying me attention, which I never got when I was young.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't control that. I was like a lad on fucking crack, like, you know, I was fucking just chasing women, and I regretted like massively.
Yeah.
But see, now I look back at that, and I break it down in my head. It's like I'm not a bad person. I done bad things, you know. Like I have forgiven myself, and because I have faith. Like, you know, like we talked about this earlier.
Yeah.
I know I have had my conversation with God, which I do believe in,
Yeah.
and I have, we say, set in path that I'm going to live some kind of a right life. Now, like, we're human. I had this in the video I put up. We all make mistakes. That's what
Yeah.
we're designed to make mistakes.
Yeah.
But I think the old me is dead. Like, he's gone. He's this like a fictional character to me. He doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I know who I am now.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, you say dead. Like, was it like a process of? Did you feel like? Was it like a natural, peaceful death? Like, this might be a weird question, but like,
No, it was a pure ego death.
Yeah.
It was one of the, without drugs. It was one of these.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was with my therapist and we were chatting. I remember her saying like, "Who are you?" And I was like, "Oh, like I'm a barber." And she was like, "No, but like apart from work, who are you?" And I was like, "Oh, like I'm really into tattoos." And she was like, "All right, and without the barber, without tattoos." And this went on for a few sessions. She said, "Who are you?" I remember one day she was like, "Who are you?" And I just goes, "I don't know."
Yeah. Did you?
And she kind of like, there he is now. And I cried. Hands in my fucking, just bawled, cried.
When you said I don't know,
Don't know.
Yeah.
Do you know who I was like?
It's crazy.
And that was at 20, I'm going to say 26, 25, 26.
Yeah.
Like, to not know who you are is a it's a
Scary.
scary thing, man.
And the later you realize that, the scarier it is. Definitely. Like.
Yeah.
100%. Like,
I definitely as hard as I found shit, I'm grateful too for whatever reason. Like I have asked those questions younger, like and even at that was hard because the intensity of and there's still stuff that's in the way. Like I'm still identifying with things that aren't me at the moment, but it's like it kind of happens both ways. There is like the thing like where people do ayahuasca and some shit, and
Yeah.
you just stop identifying with any of it. But like, I don't know, like I heard this thing. I remember being at this festival before, ironically in a tent after 3 day session, and this one guy I thought was the most off his head wasn't at all. It turned out because we were just in this tent and a load of us just sitting there, and they were all talking about doing ayahuasca and shit like that. And this one guy was like, I wouldn't do it. He was just like, uh, I'll find my own way home gently and slowly, and he was the guy. This is the guy you think was the guy who was like started the conversation, with ayahuasca or something like, because he just looked like it. But when he said that, I was only 15 at the time. And at the time, even I was like interested in like ayahuasca because I thought it was cool and shit like that. But then I was like, I got what he said in the tent, and everyone was laughing at him.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, "No, you like if you know it's the quickest way to find God and all this shit." And it was just like, no way. Like I totally just in that moment knew what he said. So like ever since then, I've been slowly, taking off or disconnecting from those false things that I identified with. And yeah, I don't know. It's still weird, and I still don't know who I am. But it is funny that like you do start to, although like the the more I take off stuff, I still can't like the more I don't know. It gets simpler and simpler when you take something off. Like you get back to like the root of who you are. Before I want to say, 'cause I don't want to influence any answer or anything like that. But do you
Yeah.
feel like you've found like is there anything you could say you are now, or is it still I don't know? Or
I'm going to do a Jordan Peterson on this one.
yeah,
Kind of just,
yeah, that's okay. Like definitely take your time to think about it.
I think the best way I think is I think I'm human.
Yeah,
Right. I'm human. That's how I look at it. I think, and it's not, you can try to make up this hyper philosophical answer, but I think I'm a person that's going to make mistakes.
yeah,
I believe in making mistakes, but once you learn and you can change if it's bad. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah,
I don't think any of us ever really know or learn who we are. I think it's a life journey.
yeah,
It's a life journey because you can change.
yeah, 100%.
I don't believe in like, you know, you could change in a day. Like you could make a change tonight. You could like,
Yeah.
I never thought I'd be like, I was raised Catholic family, but I never thought I'd be like religious to where like I would say to someone until one day. I never thought I'd be like mad into running until one day.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
one day. That's all it
Yeah,
takes. Do you know, like,
yeah.
do you know people say like I have this thing that I post my videos on TikTok and everyone's kind of like, I'm going to start Monday. Start now. You know,
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Don't wait till like January. Like I say to people, don't waste the next
I know. I
whatever
was
2 weeks, December. Like
Yeah.
start now. It's not that hard.
Yeah,
You know.
it's yeah,
But we're human. We're human, and we're going to make mistakes. And I think it was something I said today to someone was, don't be too hard on yourself, but definitely hold yourself accountable. I think
Yeah.
accountability. A lot of it try to absolve ourselves
yeah,
of any kind of accountability for things we do.
Yeah, like there's a phrase I always like. I can't remember where I picked it up, but it's just like the whole thing of like the idea of the difference between an explanation versus an excuse. Whereas like if you do something wrong and you can explain why you did it, but you're
Yeah.
not absolving the blame you have. That's
Yeah.
completely different than we just go like, oh, sure, it's not my fault, and just throwing it aside.
Yeah.
And it's like that's a really important thing then as well. Like,
yeah. I definitely think so as well. Like I always say, is like if someone, I'm always the person like when someone's like, oh, someone murdered someone, they're like, it's awful that someone murdered someone, and it always will be because like people's family are ruined now. 'Cause someone murdered someone, and like I know it's a very extreme thing, but there's a reason why I'm using this example, and I always say, yeah, but you know why? And it's like, and that's like obviously an awful thing. I'm not going to ask the family. I'm not going to, like in conversation, even people don't want to talk about why because I understand that it's uncomfortable, but my reason isn't to like try and get some excuse. And, because when you do get to a stage, you will get to something like, well, that person was fucking abused mad when they were a kid.
Yeah.
Or like, there's no way, it's always some mad shit happened when they were younger. But the reason people don't want to know that is because then you're going to humanize the person that you're going to feel bad for them innately.
Yeah.
Everyone is going to feel, and you don't want to feel bad for them because they hurt, which I understand as well. So like my whole thing when I have those conversations is I'm not trying to find excuses. I'm not trying to get people to make feel bad for them. It's like to prevent the next thing from happening, you need to understand now. So like what you're saying is we need to get the explanation for these awful subjects so that we can prevent them. Like just going, no, that's no excuse and brushing it off. It's like, because it isn't. There is a balance. Like, it's a complete difference between an excuse, and it's so important for us to, like, I don't know, get the explanation, but not the excuse. It's definitely a hard balance, but yeah. Do you find like where do you think like do you remember like what like when you're saying like what you first started identifying with, and why was it like you like is that weird like it's basically started identifying stuff. I noticed it's like it was protection, like
About which?
like if you start identifying with stuff that isn't actually you. So like if you identify as, for example, like I'm a hurler, or you were saying you're a barber, like for me, I started identifying with stuff because I noticed it was like a protection mechanism.
Yeah. Well, we have that tribal instinct anyway, don't we? They say, we naturally pull to being a part of a community and a tribe. That's where, see, when I was young, there was always this ongoing kind of joke about me. Like my friends were like, who am I going to be this year? Like, I went from being like the Bowsy, I'd have the tracksuit, the Air Max.
Yeah.
6 months later, I could be down in the skate park in baggy jeans and a baggy hoodie. That was subconsciously, that was me trying to find who I am, trying to find my crowd. But that helped me down the line, because I find out because of that, I can interact with every group of people.
Yeah.
And I will say this, I'm going to say the skateboard crew are the nicest lads I've ever met. The best, Nally.
Shout out to our production
Nally.
team.
No, I think out of any group I've ever been a part of, judgment is never passed in that clique of the skateboard. Like, I remember, like, if you were with a different group, it was all about what you were wearing, how you were dressed. If you rocked into the skate park, right, in a tight end tracksuit and a matching Nike Air Max tracksuit, but once you were the skateboard, nobody gave a shit. You're down with the boys, that's it. It doesn't matter what you look like, where you're from, what you're wearing. You're with the boys, that's it. But yeah, to get back to it, like, I think as well now, it is dangerous to identify with something. And purely because, like I said, say, I'm suffering with this kind of injuries at the moment with running. So my fear is, if I can't run, running is taken away from me. I feel like I'm a runner at the moment. Like, I identify it's part of my personality. It's basically my life. My life is highly structured around my training, my nutrition, all this stuff. And that can be taken away from me at like a click of a finger. And someone said to me, what would happen to you if that was taken away? And as a joke, off the cuff, I just go, I'd probably kill myself.
Yeah.
That was a joke, like. But I thought about that and said, what happens if someday it is taken away? What are you going to do? Because you have to have multiple avenues in life of who you are, like. It's like, you run. Yeah, okay, that can be taken away so easy, like. So easy.
Yeah.
Scary.
That is crazy. When you I've 100% had that same. When you that's the problem. Like when you would, like, when people say don't put your eggs or all
basket,
definitely don't do that, because if that shit's gone, like if you're like it is like it's true. Like if like Cristiano Ronaldo's on top of the world, he's the soccer being taken away from him. He's over. Like as in his whole everything, like then he probably will need ayahuasca. Like something's that intense. Like there's
like, big talk of that as well. Like people are saying to him like I heard the boys talking about this. I don't follow soccer, but the boys saying commentators saying that he's definitely going to need like a serious counselor or a therapist, because he's going to come from God status to just being like, no, he'll never be normal. He'll be one of the greatest of all times, But like it's a fall. It's a big fall from the top, like,
Yeah.
So it'll be an adjustment, like, but
it's because it's like that's all he is. Where if you see, like, I can't think, there are examples of people, I can't think of any top of my head, but there are those people that come around, like, I don't know, like someone like, you see all these people like The Rock and stuff, like, there's people that, like, who are actors, they're like business people, all this stuff, like, they lose one thing, they have another thing, and also, obviously that's still not who they are and stuff, but just in terms of a practical standpoint, like, it's definitely scarier for someone like, like Mike Tyson is a boxer. Like, that fucked up his life because, when he started to not be able to box anymore, that became a problem. And it's like, I don't know, it is dangerous to just identify with one sort of practical thing.
I think a big thing that would help people with that, and as well, like, is the whole thing of, like, people need to share more stories of those people who find things later in life. Because, like, there is, like, that whole thing of, like, loads of people feel like they're on a clock, as in, like, if you haven't done X, Y, and Z by the time you're 30 or 40, you're a failure in your life. Like, you may as well throw away your life. But, like, then you hear, like, these people who, like, you know, they were working in an office till they were 50, and then they started something else completely different.
Yeah.
And then like miles happier than they've ever been at any other point in their life.
Yeah.
They just said, fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They one day just
Yeah.
said, you know what? They walked in, looked at the room and said, I'm miserable.
Yeah.
I had that. That was what spurred this. That's
Yeah.
what created this person. This like,
No.
I don't care. And I mean this. Like if people say they don't care what people think.
Yeah.
The reason I I word it like that so people understand, right? But what gets me about I don't care what people think is that when I post a video, a conscious thought doesn't come to my head of what will people think about this. I
Yeah.
watch it and I say, right, is this true to me? Is this what I want me to put
Yeah.
out there? And if I say, yeah, this is me, this is what I believe, boom, it's up.
Yeah.
There's no like, oh, what if they see this now and people from, like, you live in Thurles, man.
Yeah.
Thurles. I hear people say to me like, oh, if I didn't live in Thurles, I'd dress like this.
Yeah, I heard.
That's
crazy.
Are you
yeah.
serious? Like,
No, yeah.
like, man,
It's definitely a mad thing. Like,
another thing that's massive, and I found this through religion, was like coming to terms with your own like mortality. Now people say like, oh man, we're all going to die. Man, I had this little thing one night where I sat in my bed, and I've been in contact with death a lot. Like my brother, friends, all this mad. I bury too many people in my life, right? I know I'm going to die. Now I know this, right? But I know where I'm going. Like,
yeah.
it's not. I never say, oh, it's going to be a man in the skyway. It's not. I'm going somewhere.
Yeah,
To me, it's
yeah.
going to be called heaven. I'm
Yeah.
going there, but I know I'm going to die.
Yeah.
I've accepted it, so I'm going to enjoy now until then.
Yeah.
And be the truest version of me.
Yeah.
You can judge me. I
Yeah.
don't care.
Yeah.
Tupac, only God can judge me.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm just going to be, and I'm being
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
I have such a limited, I say a limited ego, because we all have some form of an ego.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah.
know I'm nervous today because I'm on camera.
Yeah.
But when someone says words to you, like,
Yeah.
oh, like I often get a slag, you have a big nose, right? Look, I mean, it's a big one, you know. But words only affect your ego.
Yeah.
If you know who you are, like I say this a lot in work, if you know who you are deep to the core,
Yeah.
external factors, this tattoos, see all this. This
Yeah.
is bravado bullshit I built over the years
Yeah.
for people to be intimidated of me so they can't hurt me. This is
Yeah.
a defense thing.
Yeah.
But I know who I am. You
Yeah.
can't hurt me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like physically, yeah, but you cannot hurt me because I know who I am.
Yeah.
And
man.
I'm a good fucking lad. That's the
Yeah.
difference. I've changed. That lad I talked about earlier, dead.
That's funny.
Aye.
I believe you is like that's obviously people say like they don't
Here.
yeah, but I know it and I feel it because I relate to it. The reason I know and relate to it and feel to it because there was a stage where I thought I didn't care, like, and I was saying I don't care, but I realized I was saying I don't care when like someone was saying something. So, but like you're saying it just in a general and that's like I feel closer to it now.
Yeah.
Like to that stage, there's two like levels that I don't care, but definitely there's parts of me that still get bothered by stuff, and you know, and until then like you know. Then I'll know I truly don't care, but I definitely can feel it just because I know what don't cares are like, and I know you're
Yeah.
being. And I said it to someone before. You were walking. I literally said that I said you ran past before. I said that lad doesn't care.
Yeah.
I
Probably
think-
top off.
No,
top
yeah,
off in the
you're-
summer.
with your like fucking wave vest
Oh, the
on.
best. Yeah.
And the reason I said it is because exactly what you're saying, the contrast to Turles was the only time I've ever seen that, like someone like running with no top and like a wave vest thing on is in movies in like LA or YouTube in California.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's the thing is like, even like, that's how I knew you care. And it's not like this guy's showing off and stuff like that, because guys who are showing off don't do that. Like you don't like the thing about showing off is a weird thing when you're actually confident with who you are.
Yeah.
People who are showing off because they're insecure don't actually put themselves out like they're.
No.
It's a weird thing. It's like, yeah, they're showing off, but they're showing off in their very protective thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just run
yeah,
through the
yeah.
town, and that is a vulnerable thing. It's
But
not.
do you know
true.
what it took for me to get to the stage
Yeah.
of running with my top off?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
My body dysmorphia. I post thing on my story. Like my thoughts, I want to post them because I want people to understand that. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like this. Oh, I feel this way, you feel that way. It's like I put a post up yesterday morning.
yeah. I seen that.
I felt fat.
Mm.
Now, I said this to a person I was talking today. I thought, how can you have visible abs and
Yeah.
feel fat.
Yeah.
It's in your head, man.
Yeah.
This external thing. That's why I say it doesn't matter. You know.
So running is like the thing that.
Oh man, running
That's-
saved my life.
Yeah.
Literally.
Do you think though as well, like, so running saved your life, and it sounds like that, like, yeah, the connection of like without running, like you go back to that place again in your head. Like, is there any way that you can start to like transition or like, what's the word, like transform nearly? I don't know what the word is, like transfer the energy of
Run.
what running did to, like, you know, like the eggs in the basket thing. Like,
Yeah.
is there a way to make
Jesus.
5 things?
I wish.
You know,
I wish.
there probably is. I guess it's just like, you know, even like you were saying earlier, like you wanted to do the talks and stuff like that. Like that could be another
Yeah.
thing. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
But see,
yeah, I
when
think-
someone said to me about, like you said, about the running with the vest and the top off,
yeah.
and I questioned myself on it. See, I'm very in tune with questioning myself. And I said, do you run through the town with your top off for validation? Is that what you do?
Mm,
And then I said, okay. So I then would run
yeah.
and not go through town on purpose
Yeah.
just to test myself and question it
Yeah,
and see. And
yeah.
I was like, no, you
Getting
do
the same thing.
you,
like,
you do
yeah,
it for yourself.
Yeah. 100%.
But the running, man, the running is something that, like, I would run, right? And this is one thing that blows a lot of people's minds. And it's, for me, it's nothing. But like, I run
Yeah.
without headphones. So I could run 35 kilometers, even the marathon, 42.2
No
kilometers.
headphones.
No music,
That's
nothing.
mad experience. Yeah.
Me in the mind, me in
That's
the head.
mad. I'd love to
So
experience that.
I've rummaged through my thoughts
Yeah.
over, I think this year, I looked up, I think it's about, is it 2,500 kilometers I ran this year.
That's crazy.
So I've rummaged through that in my head. So I'm out there running.
Yeah.
And it comes up, like, the thoughts come up. The day, and you know what? No, I'm going to be open to say about this. The day my grandfather died,
Mm.
I remember I went home and I had to go for a run. Like, that was like,
Yeah.
it's my getaway.
Yeah.
Same with Gary Kirby when he died. Same
Yeah.
thing. Had to go for a run. It's my escape.
Yeah.
So I suppose that's why I'm afraid to lose it. And it's
course.
people. It's just it's a pastime, but they don't get it. For me, like,
Yeah.
I killed me. I'm like emotional. It's my.
Yeah.
It's like it's my. I feel like it's my purpose. I
Yeah.
found this through running, that I can talk, and I
Yeah.
want to help as many people as I can. That's what kills me. Is I'm such a strong advocate for mental health because I just want to try save somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody. Because I saved myself.
Yeah.
No, I had help from my mum and, like, whatever. I went to, I was in the church, but that was me. I pulled me out of that.
Yeah.
There's nobody got me through it but me.
Yeah. That's
So
what,
I want to help anybody.
yeah.
And the day, I swear, the day Gary Kirby died, I said to myself, I couldn't save you, but I'm going to save somebody else.
Yeah.
And that is from the heart now, straight up. You can hear that, like.
No, I
I
believe
said,
that.
I
yeah.
can't save you, but I'll save somebody.
Yeah.
That was tough now for me. That's tough now saying it out loud.
Of course, man.
But I'm open. I don't care. Like, this is it.
Yeah.
I I don't like people that will bring themselves to tears and record themselves. But I also
Yeah.
don't like people that will hold back tears when it's coming.
Yeah, it's
know.
just you're being honest, like, and it's like the one thing as well, though, like, because I really relate to you as well. There's a lot of shit that I went through in terms of, like, when you were saying that thing about, you know, questioning yourself about the vest and stuff like that. I came to this conclusion only like a few months ago, to be honest, like, because, like, since I was younger, like, and I came across like the idea of ego. I got really into, like, Buddhism and reading about it when I was like 14, and I found it really interesting. Like, I was like identifying with, you know, everything outside yourself, not just, or identifying with one thing, which is all of it, rather than, like, you know, when I played hurling and all this stuff. And anyway, the thing is, though, I got too lost in it and misunderstood it to a point where, like, I started to realize there is a massive, there's a big joke in it. Like, Alan Watts is really good at this. He's the only person who's ever managed to translate the Eastern practices to the West, because we see this as like, oh, we must spray on a mountain and become nothing. And
Yeah.
the second you want to do that, the second you're not doing it, it becomes fake. It's a weird fucking paradox, and no one can escape it. And the thing is, and that's what he talks about, it's when you don't want to do anything is when you figured it out. And it's a weird thing, but I definitely took me years to figure out, because why I'm saying that is, I spent years going out of my way to try and figure out how to not care about what I wore and stuff like that. And I actually was noticing you can't escape the ego. Like we actually all this
We
is
all
the,
do,
we
yeah.
have an ego. It's our
there. It's there.
without it there is no reason to live in here. And I remember thinking this one day. I was like, hey, what is if I removed an ego, what does that mean? Okay, it does probably mean shaving my head. And it's like, well, if we were all supposed to shave our head and wear the same orange robe, then we would. Like, the only way we can grow. I couldn't grow. I couldn't learn from you if you didn't have those tattoos. I couldn't learn from Owen if he didn't wear his hat all the time. You know, everyone has these things that separates them so that we can like mirrors, like different types of mirrors that we can see each other off. And what I'm saying is, because I was like, it's important as well. Is like, even if like running through the town with your vest off makes you feel good, you're not hurting anyone. I say that to everyone. Like, if people want to wear like shoes, because I was always someone, oh, people are spending too much on this and looking like this and it's all, but like, if they want to do it and it makes them feel happy and it's like, fuck it, they're not hurting anyone. Like, and I learned that. Now I'm for the first time wearing what I want, which is not like just clothes I feel like on the day.
Yeah.
Sometimes if I don't feel good that day, I'll care less. And then I'm taking it day by day now rather than, you know, but I was actually going out my way anyway to wear shit stuff just because.
Because it was cool.
Yeah, because
I don't care how I
yeah,
look,
because
man.
I thought
Fuck
it wasn't cool to be. I don't know. So we put ourselves in this paradox all the time, and I think it's like important. I don't know. That's what I'm trying to do at the moment. Is just like all just need to do our own thing, like and fucking dress how you do. But but then it's like that's why I want to get to the stage where I actually honestly like don't think there's anything wrong with it. Like I want to get to a stage where I'm comfortable running through the town
naked.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Naked and free.
100%. And even if that means feeling good, because I'm only gonna ever do that if I look good, right? That's the God honest truth. Like unless I have some mad mental breakdown and I'm like off my head running around on drugs. But I'm only gonna do that when I feel like I'm in the body I want to be. That's the God honest truth. That's who I am at the moment. And so like when I do it, I'll enjoy it's like it's not that like I'm doing it just for validation of other people. It will be because I've got to my place where I feel good in my fucking body, and it's okay to show people that. And you know what, it's fucking really cool. I didn't think like, even if people do think it's an ego thing, fuck 'em, because what you made me think when you run by is like, that's class. Like, that's what people should attain to do. We push ourselves down all the time, man. Like we should like hide. Like we should stay indoors and we should like not embrace who we are, and we shouldn't be confident and stuff like that, and we shouldn't be happy with how we look, but we should like. And it's
I definitely think that when it comes to bodies, like bodies is such a weird thing for me because I don't believe in like body shaming, right? I don't believe in this thing of like giving someone shit. I'm obviously I'm a big David Goggins fan because of running his Goggins. Like, he said it. If someone calls you fat, don't get offended. Chances are you're fat. Now it could be an incentive, a kick up the hole. I needed a kick up the hole, and I took it on myself. But another thing is, a lot of people, this crack of like, oh, he's in good shape. Oh yeah, but he lives in the gym. He probably has no life. The discipline it takes for a person to be in good physical condition, like exceptional, like like year round good shape. That's tough. And in Ireland, you see, it's like if you don't drink, you're almost like you're weird. Oh, lad, why, you're not going out tonight? Now look, don't get me wrong, I'd often throw out slag at the lads, and I barely drink. I'd be like, lad, go and have a few pints. It's a joke, really, But I mean, like you're saying, do what you want to do to be happy, as long as you're not hurting anyone else. If you want to go to the gym, go to the gym. If you want to, but don't hurt anyone else. Like,
yeah, exactly, man.
All that matters, man. It's all that matters.
Yeah, 100%. What you were saying as well, you're interested. Like, why were you always religious? Were you always?
I like this one. So strong Catholic upbringing. The way it is in my house with me, my brothers, my sisters, and my sister, and my nephews is you're basically dragged to mass until you're about 16.
Okay.
Every Saturday, if the mother goes Saturday evening, or every Sunday if she doesn't go Saturday, you're dragged to mass. You go. That's it. I see a lot going on, And then you're let off the hook.
Yeah.
Do what you want. You stop going to mass. You start going out, blah, blah, blah. And then I always live the life. I'd often have a a little chat with God, we'll say, when I was younger. Not mad, only whenever I kind of wanted something, you know.
Yeah, new bike and shit.
Yeah, and then
No homework.
Then
I
there
used
was
to-
the day, man. The day came then. This is my little story. This is my I worked in Dunn Stores at the time, and I was going through a really, really bad patch on my head, and I didn't want, to kill myself, right? I didn't want to die, but I couldn't. In my head, I couldn't go on living the life I was living. Like, not that I was doing anything wrong. It was just every day was wake up, misery, and it was endless. So I remember I was walking home. I left work early. I was walking home. It wasn't like I was walking home thinking, right, how am I going to kill myself? I walked home and I was thinking, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can do this. And I was crying walking up the mall. I think I might have been, was I 20 or 21 at the time, maybe. And it was tough. And I walked past and I was crying the whole way up the mall, up past the church then. And I just stopped at the church and I looked and I said, look, I was basically brought up in there. I've had a relationship with church. I'm going in here. This is my last chance.
Yeah.
I went in, went up to the church, like I said on that video I put up, sat under where Jesus was unintentionally, put my head down, and I just cried. I cried for about 20 minutes, and I was just in my head, just basically begging. I was like, please just help me. I'll do anything. Just help me get through this. A woman walked up to me, right? It's actually lovely. She put a little prayer book in front of me. And it said on the prayer book, it's like, you're not alone. And the picture of Jesus.
That's funny.
And my mum reads that prayer book every morning, right? Back to front to the point where the glue has gone off the pages. It's falling apart. Now, she reads it, but she could nearly recite it.
Yeah.
But that woman left the book. And this is a weird, I don't know if I imagined this or not. This was like, I always feel like I had like a, I don't know what you'd call it. But the woman put down the book, right?
Guardian thing. Or
Yeah, she put down the book, right? And she walked away. She left the aisle of the church anyway.
Yeah.
And then I remember hearing her walking down the cathedral, right? So it was like, and I turned, and there was nobody there, man.
That's mad.
Nobody. Now, I could have imagined in my head maybe she sat down, but at the time, it freaked me out. I was like, boom, boom, boom. I turned, there's no one there. I got up out of the church, took the book and ran.
That's mad.
Hightailed it out of the church, went home, and ever since that day, it wasn't easy. Like I told you earlier, I've had 10 years where I was bad.
Yeah.
Bad. Really fucking bad. 10 years. But now, I'm feeling good,
Yeah.
But it's without that fate
Yeah.
and that certainty that, like, I'm going somewhere,
Yeah.
But that's what got me through it. Hadn't been for that day, I'd be dead.
Yeah.
Hadn't been for that day, eventually push would have come to shove and I would have killed myself. That's the God's honest truth.
So like you connecting with something, the idea that there is something after this, like stopped you from killing yourself,
Yeah,
is it?
100%. Like
That's
I say to
interesting.
people, if I didn't believe in God, I'd kill myself. And people are like, what do you mean if you believe in God, I'd kill myself? I said, no, because if I didn't believe, it would have already happened. It prevented. Now listen, like I said, the way I look at religion is, like you were saying about the other things, do whatever you want in life, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else.
Yeah.
I don't care if you believe that there's a pink unicorn in the sky.
Yeah.
I'm not going to agree with you, but I'm not going to debate on you. I'm not going to sit down with you and have this argument. Like, my boss is a Muslim. I'm a Catholic. We don't have it out, like. Do you know, we don't, let's not start a religious war. There's enough of that bullshit going on, like.
Yeah.
There's no need for that, like.
Yeah.
He believes his belief, I believe mine. There's no need to have trouble. Why start a conflict?
Yeah.
My God is bigger than yours. Oh, fuck off, like.
Well, what's really strange though is like the God, like you know when you do that thing, right? It's very good. The therapist, like, is a good therapist, and you break down to like who you are, and you say, "Don't know." But then I think a lot of recent wars come from like all the conflict and stuff comes from because no one's done that with God. Like no one's applied that same practice with God yet. Like no one said, "Yo, who is God?" And you go, "Well, God's the Father of Jesus," or you go, "Well, God's Muhammad," or you go, like you know, God is, all these different things. But it's like, well, now we're identifying God with this different thing. We're creating different egos for God, in different parts of the world and stuff. But when you break down the fundamentals of what God is in every single religion, you get back to the same answer in every book. And this is what I came to conclusion of who I am when I removed every veil and every who I am, it comes down to, I get the same answer that I got when I did the same practice on all the gods. All the gods
God is love,
context
brother.
everyone, but yeah, love like is
God is love.
in every religious text. Like it goes back to love and kindness, being there for others, and even love is actually as simple as that. It's it's obviously love's an abstract thing, so to say that all they're saying is love, and then people go, well, what's that mean? Well, all the books they're saying to be kind and do your best for others and stuff like that. And like I got the same answer when I broke it down myself and I removed all those veils. So when I'm not acting from love, then I know I'm not being myself. So that's why I know I'm not fully myself. Like unless I'm walking, and I don't know, and I think you can get there, but my biggest goal in life is to get to the stage where I'm walking every second of life with unconditional love for fucking everything and everyone that's around me. And until I get there, then I won't be. That's what I mean by I'm still trying to strip back all these things, because I know I'm not feeling that, because sometimes I do get angry and sometimes I'm sad and sometimes I feel hard done by and all it. So until I'm just in unconditional love and acceptance at the moment at the time, I'll know I'm not like there yet. But I do think like that's the weird thing about the conflict and stuff. It's just like when everyone stops for a minute and like hear what you're saying, like there's wars over love.
Yep.
It's like that's what's going on.
Madness.
Like break it down, like remove all of the Middle East and everything, like the Holy Land and shit. It's like it's become political and stuff now, of course, but like where it came from was just like everyone's misunderstanding of who they are projected out towards communities projecting out towards nations, and nations into religions, and it's like it all just comes from their own misunderstanding of who they are has created a misunderstanding of who God is. And literally if you like tear back anything, like, and this isn't even like in a spiritual context, like even if we don't believe in like God, or God can be, it's just like the idea of doing what feels right to you. If you're if you take a deep breath and you what doing, sometimes it is sacrificing for what's right for you and doing it for others. And when you break down anything, whether you do believe in God or you don't believe in God, whether you're Muslim, any religion or any belief, like I think like everyone in a room who's not hurt by the world would say that the answer is like let's just be nice to each other. Like, so I don't know, it's weird.
It's a good thing, man.
Yeah.
Love is rare as well, man. It's rare.
Mm.
I got engaged about 2 months ago now, man.
I didn't know that. Oh, that's mad.
So good.
That's class.
Oh man,
That's savage. I didn't know that.
Like
Excited for you.
I got her name tattooed on me with a little
That's
couple,
class.
But man, what got me through the 2 marathons I done this year, and when I hit that wall, the famous wall,
Yeah.
about 35 kilometers in, you think you're dying. I close my eyes and I picture being either in bed or on the couch with her and my dog.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
all that gets me through it, and I actually feel that like that little warm embrace.
Yeah.
That love, man, to have that love for another human. That's what always scared me as well in life, was loving someone.
Yeah.
Letting down that vulnerable wall.
Yeah.
Because when you're used to a life of loss, when people die, like I was very emotionally disattached to my grandfather compared to my sister. Because when my brother died, I had set myself up for death.
Yeah.
So I suppose I knew what that really bad loss felt like. So now I struggle a lot with one big thing I struggle with in terms of emotion is attachment to. I'm emotionally vulnerable to myself and putting it out there, but the attachment to another person scares the fuck out of me because
Same.
I feel now like obviously my direct family, but that's almost like you kind of don't even have control over that attachment. You're brought into that, like you love your family, like. But with my fiance, I feel weird saying that, my partner, she's past girlfriend now, so I have to put that in there. But with her, like losing her, if that happened to her now, oh man,
Yeah.
I think that would be my that'd be a good little push over the edge. I'd have to go and live in a forest or something by myself to find
Yeah.
the answer to that. It's like when people say to me, like, they're like, how do you believe in God if your brother died when he was 25?
Why would people say that?
Because people love to question you, man. People love to like,
That seems very.
it's almost like, let's take him off his pedestal here. How do you believe in God?
But
Listen,
even.
I don't have the answers. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe that happened. Because in a weird way, it was the worst thing that ever happened to me. But had that not happened to me, I wouldn't be who I am now. That was a big change in my life. When he died, that was when the the mortality crisis came on, where I thought like, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. He died. He died at 25. Like, I look back at that, I'm 30.
Yeah.
He was so young, and he died. So I'm just like, right, it's going to happen to me. Hadn't he died, I reckon I'd still be the shell. Because that gave me so much confidence. Because, like I said, I'm not afraid of it. It's going to happen. It happened to him. That's why my mum said, she always says that, like, you know, tomorrow it's not promised. Like, you live now, like, you live present. And most of us are guilty of not being in the present, whether it's phones or whatever. But like, you have to be here, sitting here.
Yeah.
Do you know? Like, it took me a lot to even sit here this evening. Like, I get nervous because it's new, but I want people to get my passion. And understand me. You know, and it is, but it's, I don't know. Life is full of uncertainties, and you don't know what's going to happen. But it's a journey, man. It's a journey, and isn't it a fucking beautiful journey?
Yeah.
Do you know? That's what it's about,
is.
man. It's a tough. I say it to everyone that struggles. Everyone. I say, listen, it's a tough life, but it's a fucking good one. It's a good life, man. Do you know? You're here for a fucking reason.
Yeah.
Make something of it.
Definitely.
Leave footprints behind you. You know. Be as impressionable on people as possible in a positive way.
Yeah.
And have people go, like, whether they like you or not, once you're yourself.
Yeah.
Some people will have their own bias in life. They might know a person who looked like me before or act like me. He might have done something to them. They won't like me. But once I'm myself, if you don't like me, that's on you.
Yeah.
And if you do,
good.
Well, then
Yeah,
thanks.
it's fun.
You know, goal achieved. Like,
Yeah. Do you? Because it's interesting. Like, do you fear death? Do you ever think about it much when you're younger? And
Yeah, I remember I was about 7 or 8 years old, and I got sleep paralysis for the first time.
ooh, scary.
Because I get a fair way. I'm used to it now, but like I remember, I didn't know at the time it was sleep paralysis. But I remember I had a dream, and in the dream, it was really weird. Like, because like I was like 7, I still really remember this, and it was like in the dream, it was basically there was a fly going around the room, and the person in the dream kept saying, "Don't touch the fly, you'll die."
You touched the fly, didn't you?
And I like smacked the fly, and then I woke up, and like my room was pitch dark. We didn't even have a window in the room. Like, you know, it was like an attic room. Like, and so I woke up and I had sleep paralysis, and I could not move, and I was convinced I was dead.
wow.
And I just sat there just thinking, and that was like the first time I was like, shit, I'm scared of death. But then I never really got scared of death after that. So it was like, it was kind of weird that the first time I was scared of death was also like the last time. And it was like way too young for that to happen to me. Like,
That's mad. Like,
but like, no, I don't like, and it's like I know it's weird because like, I know for like for people who like believe in things, like I, you know, like I believe in literally nothing. Like, like, you know, it's like.
Wait, is that not something like? Can you?
Well, no, like the lack of something is the lack of belief isn't a belief. Like, you know, it's like.
I think a lot of people just
like,
believe when they're gone, and I respect it. I respect massively.
But is that
everyone's
not
belief.
the belief then? You're like, do you not believe that when we're gone, we're gone?
To be honest, I don't think about it that much.
Okay,
like,
so you just.
I'm just here. Like, it's
Just-
like, you know, it's like.
Yeah.
It's like. You know,
yeah.
like,
Okay.
you
That's
know, if I
that's cool, yeah.
if I die and there's like fucking
okay.
pearly gates there in front of me, it's like, oh, fair enough. Yeah, that's
What's
there.
up?
Yeah.
But, like, I don't see the
Yeah,
point
yeah.
of me like having
That's
thoughts about
mad.
that. Like, I'm,
Yeah.
you know, I find, I said it to you before, like, I find like beauty and like stuff in like so many small things around, like where it's just like,
host.
yeah, no, but just like, I don't know, even just like fucking reading things backwards or thinking about like, Jesus, the fact that humans struggle to figure out how to fly, but like a caterpillar disappears for a day and it knows how to fly, or like,
Oh man,
you know.
I had that thought yesterday. And I had so much. I see a bird walking. I'm like, why would a bird walk when it can fly? And do you know why? Because it doesn't know it can fly. If me and you could fly tomorrow, we'd probably never walk, man. You'd fly around your kitchen, but a bird will walk because it doesn't know
Yeah.
it can fly or that it's flying.
That's mad.
Now
yeah.
maybe it's this thing is like if you're inherently given something, you don't appreciate it. Now this is just a mad thought I had.
yeah.
I just wanted to throw it in there, but it's
I know what
mad.
you
Like,
mean.
you know, they walk, and they can fly.
Yeah.
If I could fly, I'd never fucking walk.
That is funny actually.
Yeah, bit of a mad one. But go on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. Like, I don't know. I definitely find you're saying something though about praying earlier, which is also a thing which I think is I think the biggest thing everyone's missing when the whole like believing in stuff. You know what I'm saying, like the fundamental of like when I broke down the fundamental of who I am or who everyone's idea of God is, you know, and even when you ask them, like if you ask them long enough, people who really believe in God, whatever God, it will get back to doing the right thing or love or, you know, love thy neighbor and shit like that. Like, and so then I was like, okay, if that's what God, all the gods are, and it's like if we're getting the same answers and we break down who I am, like even like, oh yeah, the thing I always figured out as well, figured out if it's true, I don't know, but the conclusion I came to is that when I was like, okay, but I can say when I broke myself down that I am love, and I can say that, but that's maybe a very abstract statement to say that everyone is love in terms of having the conversation with someone else and they go, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I can't connect with love like that. That's nonsense. But when I was like, okay, then what are we? Like, what's the one thing that I can feel like which would have the least amount? What's the one thing I can say everyone is that would have the least amount of pushback? And I came to trying. Like, we are all trying. Like whether it's like good or bad, like even people doing bad things, like they're trying, but they're trying to do what they think is like. Everyone is literally trying, like, and so that's what I say when people like who pray, like you said earlier, you said that thing of like, yeah, but I was the one who prayed, or I was the one who went running, and I always say that as well, like to people who go, oh, like God answered my prayers. Like, yeah, God did answer your prayer. That's 50% of the job, but don't ever discount like who went out and prayed. Like, or it's the same like if you won the lotto and people say, well, aren't you lucky? It's like, who bought the ticket? Like, it's we discredit ourselves a lot and our own powers and our own abilities to bring stuff in, and not even just in the terms of spiritual manifestation, in terms of like the act of trying will make something happen all the time. And I think it's important to, like I always say that, like to remember when you're praying, like that it is you that's praying. Like it's like a phone call, like takes two to have a phone call, and I literally mean that in terms of, I believe that in the fundamental breaking down of all our beliefs that God is this thing that's over us all and stuff. I don't believe that. I believe like without us there's no God, and without God there's no us. So then what does that mean? It's like the same without the night there's no day, and without the day so then there is just like one. And that's what I really believe, because I don't know, it's the person praying. I feel like that's where the power is, like. And I think it's important, like, and saying that we are God is obviously controversial. I don't even mean that, but that's why I think the easiest thing is say, God's trying too, like, because, like, I think we're all trying, like, I don't know. I think trying, yeah.
Just give you the strength, you see, is the strength. Like, like you were saying, like, we do it, but you get strength from, I'll say this being, whatever you believe in. You get strength from that, but you do it.
Yeah.
That's why I got misinterpreted so much when I started TikTok videos, because and I was getting this kind of like a slag, and I was like, the Irish David Goggins, like, because I was like, it was kind of like I was half winding people up. I was like, because I am someone, like, I'll tell you, I could show you my phone. My phone is nearly broken down to the hour of every day of what I do. I'm out of bed every morning at 4:30 or 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm asleep every night at 9:30. Right, that's my regimen.
Yeah.
I get up at 5 a.m. I'm dressed, 5:30, 5:45. I'm on the road. I'm running.
That's mad.
I put videos being like, music. I'm like, oh, it's like, it's like, it's like, it's 6 a.m.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing? I'm out here running. You're probably in bed. You're cold. You might go for a piss and back. But that's because I want to get into people's heads that, like, you can do it. Like, me who said this earlier, there was a stage where I couldn't do it. Man, when I was in 5th and 6th year, right, my head was so bad that I would get up at 8 in the morning. I go to school. I would sit in school to the point where my head would it would be at me so much in fear of this panic attack coming, and panic attacks and anxiety. What if this happens? That at 4 o'clock, I would physically run home. I would get into bed at about just after 4 o'clock, and I would sleep from 4:30 in the evening.
After school, sorry.
After school,
yeah. Fuck.
From 4:30 in the evening till 8 o'clock in the morning, undisturbed. Like, I had anorexia when I was 19, like literally. I was to the stage where I tried doing the whole bulimic thing twice. So I had an eating disorder as well. My body thing was fat, anorexic, borderline bulimic.
So you were on two sides of the eating disorder.
I've seen both. That's why I'm happy that I can communicate so well with say, I've had a girl now text me and talk to me about eating disorders.
Yeah.
Because I've been there. I know what she's feeling. I know that dirty little mind in your head.
Yeah.
You're fat, you're fat, you're fat, you're fat.
Yeah.
But, like, you can do it. Like, you have the strength.
Yeah.
It's there. But if it takes a fucker like me to get in your face about it, then I'll be I'll be your worst enemy, but I'm your best friend.
Yeah,
I'm doing
yeah.
this for you, you know.
Yeah.
Because I was the overweight young lad, and I was depressed off my head. But it comes from confidence. When
Yeah.
you get into a routine, you don't instantly have to be like,
Yeah.
oh, look at me, I have a six pack. It's comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah.
So if you start comparing yourself to lads in the gym, they're at it 10 years, you're at it 10 days. But there is not one person in the gym nowadays. It's this stigma of like, oh, if I go, they'll laugh. I'm going to lose weight before I join. Not a chance. You walk up to any lad in Extreme and Turles, any lad or any of the girl, anyone working there,
Yeah.
even lads on the floor, and you look for a hand, everybody be like, oh man, cool,
They are
no bother.
sound up there.
Come on over,
It's
we'll
just-
give you a hand,
yeah,
we'll have a
yeah.
chat. Anyone that goes gym, one thing about the gym I love, if any shit is in that gym, you will be ran, and that's a fact. It's a very encouraging spot, and I think a lot of gyms are nowadays.
Yeah.
Because of social media, a lot of people are encouraging people to get into exercise.
Yeah.
But
People
you-
are fucking friendly up
But
there.
people have strength, man.
Yeah.
Everyone has this untapped potential,
Yeah.
and I love when people see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was the thing about I'm going to bring it to Gary Kirby because I really want to talk about him
Yeah.
because I never loved another human to that extent, like a brother,
Yeah.
than him. I still am not over his
Yeah.
loss. I said to somebody the weekend out, I think it almost affected me. It felt like worse than when my brother died, but because I suppose when it's a sibling, your body goes numb.
Yeah.
I didn't get that with him. It was just, oof. But he
Yeah.
to me was this untapped potential.
Yeah.
The beauty, the beauty of that man. I love to just kiss him on the head, man.
Yeah.
I loved him so much, so much. But and I used to try talk to him so much. Like, Gary, man, come on, do something, do you know? And his head was so bad that we could never kind of harness him into this one little line and say, right, you're going to work at this, do it. You're great, you're brilliant.
Yeah.
He didn't have the confidence.
Yeah.
That's what kills me. And that's why, like I said, I try to get through to people because I want people to find their confidence, find their flame, and have their passion and go for it and
Yeah.
chase it and be called a loser, be called a freak, a weirdo. It doesn't matter how wild your passion is. You chase that passion,
Yeah.
you will get there. And at least if you don't, you'll never look back and go, I wish.
Yeah.
But that man, oh, Jesus.
I don't think I ever actually said it to you, actually, but it's like just because you were saying there about you trying to get Gary to do things. Like the last time I saw Gary, like so, like it would have been the Saturday before the Monday, like so a few days before. He actually mentioned how he had actually seen you lately, and you were on about like how running helped you and how like fate helped you and stuff, and that like he was actually saying like maybe it's maybe I should try the things he's saying like.
Yeah.
You did actually kind of get through. I know, unfortunately.
His mum said the same
that's
because
mad.
he had come up to me in the barbers on Friday and Saturday, and he'd always walk past,
Yeah.
and he walked past, and he came over, and I walked down. And I was like, I could see it in his face. I was like, "Just man, you all right?" And he kind of just stood there. I put my arms around and gave him a hug. Gary's battled with mental health as long as I have.
Yeah.
We went through the shit show together. You know, we had it since we were young lads the whole way up, like, and we had a chat and went, had a coffee, had a smoke, and we had a chat, and he obviously didn't say what he was thinking of doing, but he was in a bad place. He said he was trying to kick the smoke,
Yeah.
so his head was getting worse. And I said, look, man, we get through it together. I'm always here. Here's my number. And then on the Monday, I went down. As soon as I found out, I went down to his mum, and I was chatting away to her, and she said that she goes, he told me you were talking to him and that you were going to help him get through this, like. And that to me, those words, they meant so much to me. But it's like they killed me, do you know?
Worse as well. Like
That's where
it's double-edged sword,
this
like,
idea of I couldn't help you, but I will help someone. I'll help someone, do you know? Oh, rough. I love that man so
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
He even got a little tattoo, little cross, like in memory of Gary. I remember I got it done on Monday when I was getting it done. We just had a System of a Down just blaring in the tattoo shop.
Yeah.
I was just sitting there thinking, like, and your man was like, it was the last tattoo of the day, and he was like, is it sore? And I was like, man, I can't feel a fucking thing. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm just living in my head now, just living the memories. I suppose what makes it hard about, especially a friend passing, is that everything remains job.
Yeah.
Especially when you're rare together. Childhood memories are like in your brain.
Yeah.
So like something we could say or something will come into my mind, or like, and instantly it's like Gary, to the point where lads would walk past the shop, and I turn and be like, oh, just for a second,
Yeah.
oh, it's him. No, it's not.
Mm.
He's dead.
Yeah.
Do you know why? Because this country and the mental health services are fucking shit.
Yeah. It is.
Shocking. I went to the doctor for the first time at 16 with my head, and they tried to give me antidepressants. Never mentioned a counsellor, never mentioned a therapist. Antidepressants. I went home and I fucked them in the bin.
Yeah.
That's what I was given. Day one.
It is crazy. Like,
Shocking.
it's in the last 2 years, I have 7 people I like call friends. Some of them were closer than the others, but like 7 people where it was like, at their funerals broken up by like in 2 years just kill themselves, and all 7 of those people are like the same shit. And you know what's funny? It's like I noticed that, I'm even noticed that, as I say, like say all 7 of those people potential and creative, but like there's never going to be someone that kills themselves where I go, that person didn't have potential, because the truth, everyone does, and everyone
has
does
something, yeah.
now. So that's why that feel everyone always says the same questions, and I kind of, that was the part I was getting frustrated at a while. I understand it now, like when people always same thing, like, oh, we need to stay closer, and the same stuff that gets said at every funeral. It's like, come on, like we need to just stop saying this shit now and just start talk. Like we don't need to talk about. We start like every funeral is the same conversation, that we need to be closer and we need to, fucking look out for each other and stuff. But
Isn't
then
it sad how it takes a funeral to bring friends together? Like I met people at Gary's funeral
like,
that I hadn't seen since we hung out when we were 16. It was lovely. Now it was nice.
Yeah,
it was.
it was.
It was a group of people that
Yeah.
we were like the little misfits when we were young. We were like the little freaks around the town, like, and it was great to see us all there and just look at me like, yeah, this is nice, like. But it took that level of loss
for that amount of love to come
together.
together. Like that was what's
That's
crazy.
sad.
Like I was horrible. Like I felt just a lot. I never felt so much love in fucking Thurles than like being at the river, like during and after the funeral.
Yeah.
I've never felt that much love in the fucking town. Like it's a double-edged sword. It's beautiful and horrible at the same time. It's
100%,
like,
man.
where, like, can we not, like, how do we get around the barrier? I know it's weird. Like, I can't message all the same people. We can't. It's weird. Like, if I don't know. It's like a thing I always back. Like, can I just message everyone? Hey, can we all go down there again, and can we all feel it again? Because it's like, how do you do that without being synthetic? But on the other hand, like, what do we do? Do I just wait for the next time? Like, fucking someone else killed themselves like a few weeks ago, and my first thing was went through is like, I went through my contacts to see who the next fucking person might be, and like now I do that every time someone kills themselves. I go through my contacts, and because I don't know, it's a fucking weird thing, and it's like I never know what to do. The thing that hurts me about like all 7 of those people, the common thing is that I know that the thing that hurts me, and like Gary's was one that really kicked me into like getting up and getting out of bed and getting moving and creating shit, is because I do see Ireland. I do see the potential in Ireland being a place where I know the Ireland I envision in my head, those 7 people wouldn't died. I know that for a fact. God strike me. I know that for a fact. I know that for a fact. And I think we can build it. So like, and I'm not waiting around for politicians, and I'm not waiting around for legislation. I'm not. I just think legislation is needed, but they're not going to change legislation. Like, I'm not, like, I don't think, that's why I was giving myself a hard time, but I had to come to realization, like, this Ireland I envision, like, because of legislation and stuff, like, I'm talking, like, it takes us, like, us here and people with the same connections. It's not me, it's not just you, it's not just any individual, it's us, getting into politics, doing the and not just politics, like doing the shit you're doing on Instagram, but talking about it, like, and fucking going for it and running at it, like, in a weird way. We have to treat it like going into battle, like it is like this. That's why I realized it's like I have to get up now, and this, I put myself in life where I'm okay and getting money in ways where I don't have to work or answer to certain people, which is very good. But that got me very lazy. Now the reason I get up every day, because now I'm answering to like my employer now, or my teacher, or my any form of authority that gets you to get out of bed, is the next people who are going to kill themselves. It's literally the reason I get out of bed. Is literally when I'm finding myself it's like it could be a dark thought, but like it's an honest, it's the thing that makes me, like, I don't know, kick into action. And Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. Like I think, and I do. I really, really believe it as well. Like this isn't like a pipe dream as well. Like I can see a step by step. Like I can imagine that Ireland. And if you can imagine that Ireland, then you just need to reverse engineer it. In my head, it takes 10 years. I'm also at least at the minimum. But in someone else's head, someone else could come along and figure out how to do it in 5, and that'd be class. But I just think we need to start us having this conversation affected by it. Like, where are the people that needs to kick in? Like, my favorite quote is Eckhart Tolle said, "If you see a problem in the world, you then become obliged to sort it." And I really agree with that. So
True.
I hate the mental
Yeah.
health system and I hate the politics and stuff. But like, fuck it, like. Let them do their shit, but like, let's come up like while they're all fucking arguing about their same shit they've been arguing about for hundreds of years and building the systems that they've been building for hundreds of years. Let's us quietly just start to build this thing, and like that's how history's changed in the past on a massive level. Like fucking,
It's like that. You know, what is it? There's people that do bad things, and there's people that see bad things and do nothing about it.
yeah,
That's what it's like. You know.
yeah. And I think as well, like, and what I'm saying sounds very intense to people as well. Like, oh, people need to become the fucking
To change.
president or politics. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like that at all. Like, people just need to fucking, like, it could actually, you could literally change someone's life with an Instagram story. It's about like,
I think it's definitely about sorry, it's definitely
No,
about
yeah.
changing the. It's something as small as about changing the outlook. Like,
yeah,
when people messaged me and were like, "You're so brave for making a video,"
yeah,
and I just made a video. And confessed a
Yeah,
very
I know what you-
human
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
That's not bravery. We should all be able to do that.
yeah.
And like, I don't believe we're breaking the stigma. We're not. We're not breaking anything, man.
No,
the
it's-
deaths are going through the fucking
Yeah,
roof.
man,
I know
higher than
there's a
ever.
lot of things you can blame for that, but like, all I did was post a video. I said I cried yesterday because this. Now, great response and respect to everyone who
Yeah.
said like, but like, it's a human thing is to cry. If you don't hide your laughter, why hide your tears?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
That's a fact. Yeah, that
man,
is
it's
strange.
not that hard. Like, we're human, man. Like I said, you say, who am I? Like, I'm a human. Like, I'm not going to hide my laughter. I'm not going to hide my tears. And I'm going to be honest. Like, we just need
Yeah.
to be honest to ourselves.
Yeah,
If you're not honest to yourself, like, if you lie to yourself, you are in for a bad time.
yeah. And I
A
got
bad,
caught in that,
bad time.
definitely. Like, yeah. Sorry,
I'm
go on.
always kind of happy I never got to a point where I hid my tears. Like I was always, I like it was like as a kid, like there would have been certain people, teachers and stuff, who'd be like, oh, like you're a man, you don't cry, blah blah blah. I'm kind of happy it never like I'd feel bad for crying, but I'm kind of happy never got to a point where I actually just
Cutting.
Yeah.
completely sealed it off because like if I couldn't cry, like
Man,
Jesus,
fuck.
Yeah, I definitely don't.
my head
like,
would not be where it is today. Like,
Yeah.
so.
I have no problem with crying. Like, but
Yeah.
I am definitely in the terms of suck it up. That's how I look at it. Like, if I was finding something tough and if I cried, I would cry while I'm doing it. I think it's not. It's not like I'm crying now. I think a lot of times crying automatically draws sympathy.
Yeah.
Whereas I'd be like, "Why are you crying?
Mm.
Because it's tough. Okay, let's get it done. Let's get it done together. Let's get it
Yeah.
done. Let's get it done. You can cry, but let's get it done.
Yeah.
Don't give up because you're crying. You know.
Yeah.
But that one, I love that. You know, the boys don't cry, men don't cry. Man,
Man, I tell you who, like yeah, they do, like.
Yeah, they do,
If you
man.
can fucking cry on camera. The reason those fucking men don't cry on camera is because they're vulnerable and they're afraid, which I understand, and I have love and compassion for that. But don't go around pretending like the manly thing to do is not cry on camera. Like,
Nah.
that's mad because you know, like, all those people who think, like, you know, not crying and stuff, like, those people are the most vulnerable. And again, I have love for those people and I have empathy and patience, but don't be fucking spreading the narrative that, like, the manly thing to do is because them, we know, and, you know, everyone knows that there's a reason they're not crying on camera, and that's okay too, you know, from their own hurt place. It's not because they're a man, and that, like, the manliest thing you could do is be vulnerable and put yourself into a bit, like, what is being a man, you know, in terms of a masculine energy thing? Well, it's probably the idea, it's the stoic thing of going to war and stuff like that. Well, literally going to war is like, what's scary about going to war? It's like the idea you're putting yourself in a position where you might lose something. And that's what going to war is. That's what crying is. That's why we're all afraid to cry in front of people, because you are afraid that, like, we can laugh in front of people because we know they're not going anywhere if we laugh in front of them. But there's that fear that we all have that if you cry in front of this person, they'll see you as this. There is nothing like scarier than being vulnerable to people that you don't want to lose.
Yeah.
That is way scarier than any war anyone's ever fought, and everyone knows that. And I always say this as well. I respect the trenches and shit like that. But when people always say to me like shit like, "Oh, why you cry? Like you don't know how lucky you have it. Like people went to war in the trenches." There's a reason they went to war so easy, honestly. And I know that like this is a mad take, but like I really believe that though millions of like say Americans who went to fight in the trenches in World War II or whatever, millions of those guys had less emotional thing. Now they got lots of PTSD and physical trauma on a whole other level. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about them getting away from all the deep rooted like stuff that's on a soul level, this very emotional child stuff. They didn't have to face that in war. Now they had to face a whole other thing that I've never faced, I'll admit that, but they did get away from another problem. And they did go to another problem, but they got away from another problem. And that's what people always say, the youth today, we don't have the hard shit that we do. No, the hardest thing that we have right now is that oddly enough, is that we don't have wars to get us away from our thoughts. There's fucking millions. The reason there's more suicides today than ever is because there is no war. And it's because we're all sitting at home with our thoughts. We're all trying to fucking be a man, all this shit, but you can't because you're just, I don't know, it's a weird thing I hate. Like, people say, like, the youth are so soft, and it's like, man, this is the first time in history where we didn't have to go out and plow the fields. And, like, there's a reason all those guys like went out plowing and then drinking after it. They never stayed at home with their thoughts. We're living at the first time in history where so many millions of humans are at home alone with their thoughts. And of course we're using TikTok and shit to get away from it. But like this is the first time people are thinking. You know,
I was talking
collectively
to
thinking.
that girl that I was just addressed earlier. I was saying like she's speaking about eating disorders, and we were talking about the idea of, I think we live in a generation now where if you're like 13 or 14, you're in school, secondary school, say first year onwards, you have a phone. You have access to the world.
Yeah. That's
So I have this thing where I think it's not a case now of protect the kids.
Yeah.
It's expose the kids and warn them. Like every young lad at some stage of their life is going to go onto Pornhub, right? But they need to be kind of taught about the addiction of porn.
Yeah,
They need to. Every young lad will hear this idea of suicide.
Yeah.
They'll Google it. They'll see like, oh, this person had this, say something happened to him, so they killed themselves.
Yeah.
They have the internet's version of what they look up.
Yeah.
It's not a case of anymore like
fact.
that we need to protect them.
Yeah.
We need to warn them. Because like you said, now you're sitting at home with your thoughts.
Yeah.
And
not knowing what to do.
And I'm not even funny. The amount of people addicted to porn nowadays is wild.
It's bigger than any other mad addiction.
Wild.
And people, and they say like we go to school, they'll all do like workshops on like heroin addiction and stuff like they do like.
Oh yeah.
As uncomfortable as it is for them,
yeah.
they need to do workshops on
porn man,
addictions.
Man, that shit fuck you up.
Yeah.
I know, like I said, I work in a barber's, like.
Yeah.
So we get to barbershop talk, like the amount of young lads who are now taking Viagra. In their early 20s.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I nearly say that's why they put it. Jody, you can now buy it in the pharmacy. You don't need. It's not prescription anymore. You can buy it. But the amount of young lads in their early 20s taking it, because what I would break it down to is they're so desensitized that they think having sex is bending the one over a table and slapping the arse off her and pulling her hair.
Yeah.
Like the idea of actual intimate sex act and intercourse with a girl that's not porn is almost uncomfortable. So when they can't get that stimulus, and then they're playing in their head, so they're comparing themselves to these boys in the videos with the fucking 8-9-inch choppers with fucking 6-pack abs, like
who is actually like really uncomfortable if you actually just for those guys. It's ask any of those girls, even porn stars, they're not actually having fun.
No.
It's like really
so it
uncomfortable.
is, yeah. It's definitely something that needs to be addressed as well, because it's bad. It's bad.
That's
like
mad.
it's a fucking addiction.
That's blow my. I know, obviously, porn.
The Viagra thing.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Wild.
What I'm interested though is how do you get so many people to open up about that? Just talk. Would you be talking like in the? That's so interesting.
Yeah. Well,
that's class.
Like, it never comes when the shop is busy. You know.
Yeah.
It's probably like a Tuesday or a Wednesday where it's just me.
That's funny.
But like one thing like I never repeat what I said. Like my partner now, she would say something to me, say on like an evening. She'd say, "Oh, did you hear such and such a person broke up.
Yeah.
And I'd say, oh yeah, I know. She's like, how'd you know? I said, oh, he told me 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I don't go home and be like, the barber is like, it's like it's like a free therapy. Because something a fella said to me, Jack Marshall's name is a great fella. He does kind of life coaching stuff and a lot of yoga. Great lad. He was in today. He makes me feel centered when I speak to him. He's lovely, but he's a very good energy. But he said something is like, a lot of people, they just want to be heard. A lot of people, they don't seek advice. They don't want to resolve. They just want to be heard.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
So people come into the barbers and they just dish the shit.
Yeah.
And I don't judge. Man, who am I to judge? The shit I've done in my life.
Yeah.
I just sit there and I say, all right. And I say, brother, listen, don't worry about it, man.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. You fucked up. We all fuck up. It's cool.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. I think people get a bit resolved off of talking to me now. And I like that. I do, because I don't want to share with anybody else. Like, it's not my place. You know, they trust me, and there is this barber client confidentiality. Yeah. The barber shop is fucking fire, man.
That's class.
The stuff we get coming through the door is like everything from lighthearted to a bit of crack to a fella coming in to get the haircut because he's going to a family funeral. You know, you get it all. And it's lovely for me because I like talking to people and just talking in general. So it's a way that I get to interact with people and kind of get talking, and it's good. It's a pretty good time.
That's class. That's savage.
Yeah, it's
you
cool.
want to get your start up your price?
Therapist rates. 50 an hour. Best thing I ever did.
We finish up now. Yeah, man, that was class.
It's
was
been
cool
good.
to have you on. We should definitely come on again, though.
I will.
On,
I like that. I was happy that I got open up. I got to open up, and I got to let my vulnerable side out.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be nice for people to see longer form content of me speaking, because my goal is to build my own platform.
Yeah.
To try help people as much as I can. Like I said, I don't tell people what to do. I just tell them what I did and what worked for me.
Yeah.
So
that's class.
Thanks very much.
Oh, it's savage, man. Thanks for coming on.
I appreciate it.
Thanks everyone for watching. We hope Stevie still likes us. Stevie hates us. He really does. Like he doesn't want to. He gets paid to be here, and he really doesn't want to be here. This is why he's actually, not because it's because of the podcast. Stevie, so how we changed that anyway is we have this link in the description. It's buymeacoffee.com/Ireland's podcast, is it? Yeah, /Ireland's podcast. If you donate to that link, it'll make Stevie happier, and Stevie will want to be here again. Isn't that true?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what are you gonna say? Actually, what? Before?
No, I was gonna say something just because someone said something. Someone said something to me lately that I thought was really interesting. Because like a lot of the time on certain on podcasts, I mightn't say a huge amount. Someone said to me lately that I feel like I'm like the self-insert character. That like they were saying like when they're watching at home, it's like that I'm them. That like I'm just kind of here with the conversation, but I'm not talking to you. I don't know why that came back into my head.
You're like what, the interactive character,
like the self-insert character. So the person watching is like.
It was definitely going to be incredibly hard to get in over me as well. I love a good chin wag.
No, but
I love a chat.
I genuinely enjoy like sitting and listening in it. But yeah, that came back into my head when you were saying I don't enjoy it because I was going to.
Oh yeah,
I do actually. Enjoy
I know
it.
he does. I'm only joking about that. Jesus, Stevie loves it more than I do. I don't like it. I hate this. Oh, you're messing right. Thanks a million to everyone for watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify. If you look after yourself this Christmas, you'll feel better in the new year. No, how's that? See you next week. Bye.
That was fun, boys.
That was class. How would you find it?